Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Matthew 22, verse 5. But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, the wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So what happened? Well, they had a chance to show up to the wedding banquet and honor God and celebrate his victory. And it's not, Harry Potter or Frodo Baggins or Bibi Netanyahu or Ben Bernanke or Willow from the movie Willow getting married to some hot chick who's gorgeous and in perfect shape or something. Okay, so he can pretend that his flesh and his race is superior. It is the marriage of the most righteous person that ever lived to a suitable helper, which is echoed, in the marriage of God to what Jerusalem is superimposed on in the spiritual realm. God the Father and the city referred to as a woman. But since they denied me a suitable helper here, that marriage takes place elsewhere. Okay, so since they interfered with the wedding banquet by not playing their part, he sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Now, you'd have to be one kind of beta worm to think that the Creator, who created man's ability to wage war, who created the animals, created the sun, created comets, you name it, to think he magically doesn't have the power to send a greater army than you have, and in a way that you can't defend yourself from, which is what spiritual warfare is in essence, right? The spirit, the spear, it. And so the wise person looks at this situation, looks at the evidence of God, looks at the warfare nature, the patterns of animals desiring justice, and the countless other evidence we see, the odds that life would exist in these exact circumstances and so on and so forth, and says, yeah, God exists, and justice is important to him, and he doesn't cross God. Anyone who doesn't take that path loses already. They've betrayed themselves, their nations, their churches, their families, their races, you name it. Let's go to verse 9. Go to the street corners and invite anyone you find. So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came to see the guests, he noticed a man there not wearing clothes. Not wearing wedding clothes, rather. And the wedding clothes are fine linen, which stands for the righteous acts of the saints. We see that in Revelation 19. He asked, how did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend? The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness where there would be weeping and gnashing of teeth, because he didn't do the right thing. We said in the parable of the bags of gold, the parable of the tenants, the discussion about the true vine, what have you. For many are invited, but few are chosen, right? You see how to separate the sheep from the goats, the tares from the wheats, what have you. Paying the imperial tax to Caesar. But Jesus, knowing their intent, said, you hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me, right? They're trying to trap him like they're trying to trap me. They're provoking me, fume me, poison me. I'm just stupid. I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, is what God said, right? Have you never read in the scriptures, right? He's not the God of he is not the God of the dead, but of the living. Okay, he's not the God of the walking dead, of the idiots. He's the God of the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order, who was made alive through focus, moral intensity, righteousness and justice, universal righteousness, right? That's why the golden rule is a universal rule. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you, obviously, if you're a righteous person. And well, how do you know what to do? Because it's universal. It's inherently true. It's obviously true. If you try with all your heart to do right, you know how you should treat people. And you know you shouldn't cheat me.